Yo guys, what is going on? Blossom is back and welcome back to another episode of Top Drives. Now recently I just crossed a very special milestone in my garage and I want to share that with you with a little bit of story time and a little bit of, old videos as well. So what is that milestone, you might ask? So in my garage I have 2,553 cars and I think I'm due for a garage showcase, but for my own garage, probably just to start off the year and then see how far it gets. I think I did that last year. I need to watch back my garage as it was at the start of 2022. I'm pretty sure I did that because I think I made it just so I could review it in 2023, so I should probably check it out. But anyway, I got 2,553 cars, right? And the milestone I just passed, obviously I have 169 legendaries. It could have been a bigger number, but honestly, like, I don't know about you guys, but once you pass like 150 maybe, or like 100 legendaries, like any other legendary you get on top of that just feels like I don't know, it might just be me, but obviously I could have had more, but I've honestly sold and fused a fair share. Now I'm not saying that you should do this at home, never do this at home, but I want to just think about it. I've sold 2 legendaries, and I've fused 2 legendaries, so I guess the total count could have been 173 if I did my math correctly. But the big milestone that I want to talk about, oh yeah, if you're interested to know what the 4 legendaries I got rid of, 1 was the Porsche Duke, 2 were Lamborghinis, and crappy Murcielagos, and one was the Curse and the other one was the Nissan GTR. So yes, the milestone is indeed the 20 fully upgraded legendaries that I have. So I kind of want to show you the 20 legendaries, the 20 max legendaries that I have, and if I remember how I upgraded them in order as well. Now what I know for a fact is that the first legendary that I ever upgraded was the 2016 Dodge Viper ACR, and a lot of you guys will know her as Hollywood. It is one of the few legendaries that I've named. I said that I would name every single legendary that I max out, but to be honest, I've named like less than half of them. But Hollywood is definitely one of them. This is the most special legendary in my garage. I always like to talk with the lads in my server or when I'm streaming, sometimes we always like to bring up the topic of, oh, what would you trade your car? Would you trade your car for this? Would you trade your car for that? Because obviously, like, people know that I really want the GTA. People know that I want the G80 or, the GT2 RS. But one car that I will never trade away, no matter what you offer me, would be the Viper ACR. Hollywood is one of a kind. I don't care if you have a max ACR. Your max ACR is in Hollywood. My max ACR is Hollywood. And I know it's a complete like personal value to it, but it's like it's just priceless to me. This car means a lot. And before I continue talking about the Viper ACR, I'm actually going to show you a clip of when I pulled my baby.
This is the only time I spend money on the game. So we start off good, Dodge Charger Daytona, but what can we get next? Let's see. Yes! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Oh, I just won the lottery! Let's go! Yes! Oh my goodness!
Good times, man. Good times. That was 2019 October. It was a really, really long time ago. I've owned Hollywood for 1,246 days now. We've been through 7,755 races together, and she has a win ratio of 98%. Obviously, we want to get that to 10,000 as quickly as possible. But honestly, like, when you have a lot of stronger, like, game-changing cars, it hurts me to say it, but you use ACR less and less. You use the ACR less and less. Like, I remember when I first got this car, this used to be one of the best cars in my entire garage because it was a max legendary, my only one. It was beating McLarens, it was beating Ford GTs. Obviously this was the time where when the ACR was max, cars like the 905B and the HDI FAP and T16 and the IDR, all those cars didn't exist, so the ACR was really, really strong max back then, and it still is strong now, but it isn't first choice anymore, only if it's in American events. But usually when it's in American events, I also have, the Dodge Viper GTSR, so it's an interesting one. But yeah, I will always cherish this car. This is my favorite, my first max legendary, and history can never change that. The second one that I got was my Challenger SRT Demon. This is the second legendary that I ever maxed. Obviously I named it Blossom Jr. The sad story about the Demon is that it's just not as good as it used to be. I know that it got an MRA buff, and the MRA buff of the Demon is like better than it used to be, but I don't care. I feel like the Demon is about 5 times less worth now than compared to when it didn't have the MRA buff. Because hear me out, the MRA buff was one positive in a bunch of negatives, alright? The sad story of the demon is this, alright? It used to be a 5-seater, now it isn't. It used to actually have capable handling, now it doesn't. It used to performance tires, now it doesn't. So it kind of eliminates a lot of the versatility, you know what I mean? Like one of my favorite screenshots about the Challenger SRT Demon was that this car was capable of beating a maxed out banana, you know, 99 handling banana on a twisty circuit. Back when it had like 85 handling or whatever the number was, like this car used to beat the banana on a twisty circuit, not a fast circuit, not a quarter mile, not a half, on a twisty circuit. Because although the handling wasn't that strong, at least it still had legs, you know what I mean? And you know, that ridiculously low 0 to 60 was enough to, you know, give it the edge really. But now, I mean, this really is just a quarter mile car and a half-mile car, and I can't even use it in clubs that much anymore because it's not a 5-seater. I can't use it in the rain anymore, so I can't even use it in rain drags. I can't even use it in the 5-seater daily anymore. It's sad because I really love the Demon in real life, and it's still not a bad car in the game. But the worst thing about the Demon, in my opinion, the absolute worst thing about what actually killed the Demon, everybody has this car now. Everyone, literally every single player has this car now. Obviously, I'm meaning this as a joke. Obviously, not everyone has it, but this is like one of the most common prize cars to exist. It came out once, then it had a rerun, then it came out in a challenge, and it was a freaking easy challenge. Then it came out in another challenge. Everybody has this, dude. Everybody has this. I just wanted to give this to everybody. I don't look. The only pride I'll take in my Demon is this: first time owner. Okay, first time owner. All right. Not many people can turn their Demon, because I know everyone has it now, but not a lot of them can turn around and see 1,457 days in there. Okay, 8,777 races, 95% win ratio. I used to use this car all the damn time. Now I still use it. Don't get me wrong. I still use it. It's still good, but like it's just like I'm comparing it to what it used to be. And yeah, it's just not that useful anymore. Anyway, the third legendary that I maxed out is Bollywood, another Viper. Obviously, you guys know I'm a Dodge collector. 3.0, 100 handling. This is a car that I don't use too often though. 83% win ratio. This is a car that I use to lose to other legendaries. Honestly, it's a very expensive RQ saver. This is what this is. Like I would use this to lose to like RQ 90s. 95s, 96s maybe, because 3.0 100 with decent MRA. I mean, the SRT Viper isn't a bad car, but to tell me that it's RQ81, I'd be like, yeah, I don't think so, honestly. Like, if anything, this is RQ80 and like a mid-range RQ80. It's not a very good legendary, I'll be honest. If you have this stock, I mean, just keep it stock. You're not going to use it often. I mean, I have it maxed and it still has a win ratio of 83%, but it is a Viper. You know me, I will max every single Viper. So I got it from a Dodge Carbon Fiber. Absolutely love that car. But yeah, those are the first two that I ever maxed out, and now I don't even know what was the fourth legendary I maxed out anymore. I don't think it was the Viper GTSR. I think, bro, what did I even max after this? I don't even know anymore. So let's just talk about the Viper GTSR. You know what? No, I think the next one is the Viper TA. I think this is the next one I maxed. Maybe. I won the GTSR before I unpacked the Viper TA, but I maxed the Viper TA before I maxed the GTSR. If you guys remember the TA very, very special video, roll the clip. I was really hoping. I want to get the Charger too. Obviously, the Charger RT, my car. All right, Chrysler 300S. Let's go. No song. What are you gonna get for us?
And my ears have left the building.
So yeah, that was a video of me pulling the Viper TA. As you can see, I really lost it, and I mean for good reason, man. Like the main thing about why I was so excited with the TA pull, aside from the fact that it's a legendary Dodge, was the timing of when I pulled it. American Frontier was so fresh, it was like 3-4 days old as an update, and to get like the best legendary from that update was just, it meant everything. And obviously, like, it's a Dodge. I maxed it out within 2 minutes. You guys know this. I skipped every fuse. I put in 15 epics into this. Leo was in the video, which is a goated moment, man. 200 miles for a top speed, 2.8 for a 0 to 60, and 102 handling. I always thought that this car was just a slightly worse version of Hollywood, and it kind of is. Nicknamed Syracuse because it's orange, and I went to Syracuse. I've owned it for 754 days, and it had 1,000, and it's raced 1,530 times with a win ratio of 87%. Honestly, the win ratio isn't that good. I want it to be, if it's a max legendary, like, it's got to be over 90%, dude. It's got to be. If it's under 90%, you are in the territory of the Jaguar Project 8, because I'm pretty sure that my Jaguar Project 8 has like a win ratio of like 82, I think. But yeah, the ACR is still my absolute favorite of all the Vipers. And then moving on from Syracuse, I really don't know what was the next legendary that I maxed. So let's just talk about everything that I have over here. We have the Dodge Viper GTSR, which I believe I nicknamed Brooklyn, but I'm not sure anymore. But yeah, 2.7 for a 0 to 60, 105 handling, 208 for a top speed, and ridiculous MRI. I think 105 MRI. And also, it's a very light car, coming in at just slightly over a ton. This is like my go-to American legendary now. This one and the Hennessy. But obviously, like, if I had to nickname Hennessy when I maxed out the when I maxed out the Hennessy, I'm just gonna call it Hennessy. I love the name Hennessy. So, yeah, Dodge Viper GTSR is probably one of my most used legendaries now. I've had it for 855 days as a win ratio of 93%, and I've raced it 3,342 times. And honestly, I think this car will hit 10,000 pretty soon. Well, not really soon. Maybe like in a year and a half. Maybe a year and a half, then we'll hit 10,000 races. Maybe. I mean, my Viper has been hit with me since 2019, and it's still not even at 10,000 races yet. I really want to get there, though. Speaking of 10,000 races, though, my most raced car in my entire garage is the Porsche 918 Spider. Almost called it a Roadster. I maxed this out with tokens, so pretty recently, last year, during the PL15 update, has a top speed of 225. MRA is about 102, I think, or 101. 0 to 60, 2.1 seconds, 104 handling, and 4-wheel drive. Pretty heavy car though, 1,508, but it is my most raced car. Wow. In my head, I thought it was just 10,000 or 11, but now it's a lot more than that. I've raced it 12,000 times. Oh my god, that means I raced it more than 10 times a day. That is crazy, honestly. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I'm using this car right now as we speak in the German daily, so makes sense. It was a really amazing car, man. It really is a supercar of the future. Kind of outdated now, honestly. But yeah, everybody knows the story of this. I won this car on a plane. And it's the only prize car that I've only won on a plane. I think it's the only prize car I'll ever win on a plane, really. Flying from SeaTac to LAX, going to Disneyland. But yeah, 12,434 races, 91% win ratio. Absolutely love this beast. What is next that I want to talk about? Blosig was around the time of, the Viper GTSR as well, when I maxed it out, because obviously I need a Blosig to win the Viper GTSR. 277 for a top speed, 2.3 for a 0 to 60, bonkers MRA, and 102 handling. It's a very strong car. I love it. I love the photo with the doors open as well. 3,437 races. So very similar. 857, right? Very similar to the GTSR. 855, so 2 days apart, and 3,300 races between both the cars. That's pretty cool. Win ratio as well, 94% to I think my Viper's 93. So yeah, these two are actually very similar. One has way better handling, and one has a way better top speed and a 0 to 60. Next car that I want to talk about that I maxed, I think the next two is going to be the ones that I maxed for Tri-Series. So the Bugatti's on the S. I had to max this for the Peugeot HDI Fab, but to be honest with you, it is one of my favorite like R280s in the game. It's kind of like it grew on me. It's kind of like Oliver and Richard Hammond, you know what I mean? It kind of just grew on me and I fell in love with it. And it's the same thing with the Zonda S, like I never wanted to max it out, but I understand the amount of value that it's brought, and I love the Yoda ears or the Shrek ears, however you want to call it, with the side mirrors. But yeah, that's a really good one. But what is a legendary that I maxed out, which I was forced to max out, which I think is completely useless, is the 959. Piece of crap. I love this car, don't get me wrong. I am one of the biggest Porsche lovers that ever existed, okay? And I love Porsche. It is like my life and blood, besides Dodge, okay? And Mercedes, and Aston Martin, but like, this car sucks in top drives. It sucks. It really sucks. 87% win ratio, and I don't use it too often. 1,270 races, 620 days. I mean, what can I say? I use it in situations where I feel like it can be used, but it's not because I want to use it. It's because I feel like I need to, you know. I put so much investment into this. I put 15 epics into this, you know. It's like, it feels like a waste if I don't use the car. So I kind of use it to make myself feel better, so I feel like I'm not wasting the 15 epics. It's night and day. The 959 and the Pagani is night and day. Like, both of them are cars that I max for tri-series. The Pagani I actually enjoy to use. The 959 I feel like I'm obliged to use it. If not, I'm a fool, because I'll be wasting, you know, everything that I invested into this car. Oh man, was it worth it though? I mean, I guess I won the Yesco, and it's also a legendary prize card that I did max out. So yes, in hindsight, maybe it was worth it, but look at the cost that it took. The only thing that this thing has is medium ground clearance, and it's not even that good. I mean, if I had to use a medium ground clearance car, I'd still use the Lancer Evo, to be honest, and we'll talk about this one now. 2.8 for a 0 to 60, 97 handling. Put both of these two cars together. This car doesn't have an MRA, it doesn't have any MRA, but the 959 doesn't have MRA either anyway, so who the hell cares? Both of them are medium, both of them are four-wheel drive, but one car has 4 more handling and 0.2 seconds faster to 60, and it's cheaper to use. Oh, for crying out loud. Of course I'm going to use the Lancer Evo every single day of the week, bro. It's also a saloon. It also is a 5-seater. I mean, dude, I freaking love this car, dude. Like, it's one of my most, I feel like it's my second most used car. I feel like it has less races than the 918, but let's see. 918 is 12,000. Yeah, 9,000. Okay, 9,000. So it is a pretty big difference. A part of me actually thought that this car would have 13,000, because it really feels like I've used it that much. But yeah, I've had it for 1,429 days, win ratio of 93%, and it's not like I'm putting this car against easy opponents. This thing is a beast. Still one of my favorite cars in the entire game, and I still think that this is one of the best cars in the entire game. But obviously it isn't an epic anymore. If that was still an epic, yeah, without a doubt, best car in the entire game in my opinion. Next up, Cadillac 16. This is 996. Now, up to this point, every car that I've shown you is 699 besides this and the Demon. Everything else is 699 if you're wondering. But the Cadillac 16 won me a prize card too, this one. Yeah, I've had it for 1,252 days. I actually won me a prize card. This thing won me like 5 prize cards. But the first one that it won me was the Roof CTR3 Club Sport on the first time. 4,898 races with a win ratio of 89%. It is a very strong car. Next up, BMW M5. This won me the Peugeot 208 WRX. 2.795, obviously to max it for that final as well. I've had it for 628 days. I've raced it 1,245 times, 88% win ratio. I don't use this car too often. I really only in clubs, because it is a 5-seater. Also is a saloon. Like, this is what the Demon was, you know? Like, the Demon was a 5-seater, performance tires. Obviously it wasn't a saloon or 4-wheel drive, but you know, like, this and the Demon always seem to always show up in the same, you know, finals, or in the same requirements. Like, anything 5-seaters, like this, the Demon would have been used, but now I can't use the Demon anymore. So the M5 has kind of benefited from that, from not using the Demon anymore. It's a pretty decent car. I like it. I mean, it's not like a standout or anything, but I like it, and I respect the car. I think next up is the Viper ACRX. I totally forgot what I named this, honestly. Maybe like Bronx or something, I don't know. But yeah, I don't use it at all. 93% win ratio, 811 races, 477 days. Yeah, I mean, I use it what, twice a day. I mean, when you compare it to like the 918 or, you know, the Evo, like, this is not much. It's a decent car, but if I had to use like an American legendary, then I would always sway towards the GTSR, because although they have the same stats, the GTSR just has way better MRA and a decently better, like slightly better top speed as well. ACRX is okay though. It's okay. Like, I really only use it in like American Frontier events, and that's about it. And then next up on the list is the GT2 Mula. Yes, I do love myself Mula. 2.2 for 0 to 60, 109 handling. I want to say 1,500 races. 900. Wow, not even 1,000 yet. Okay, fair. But then again, as you can see, I use it about 9 times. Well, am I doing the math right? Maybe like 8 times per day or something like that. 97% for a win ratio is, I think, among the highest that I have. It's this in Hollywood, with the highest amount of win ratios in my entire garage. This thing's a beast. Absolute beast, dude. One of my favorite cars in the entire game. I'm so happy to get this. Obviously, I've wanted the GT2 RS for the longest time, but this fills up the hole that the GT2 RS created, basically. Then we have the Pro car. I maxed this with tokens. The first car that I maxed with tokens. This is one of the best cars in the game now, in my opinion. Now that the Evo is also legendary, this one's just better. Even though they operate in different places. But yeah, 3,634 races with a win ratio of 94%. 1.9 for 0 to 60 with 103 handling. Moving on with the prize cars, we also have the Koenigsegg Jesko Absolute. This is drag spec. And I would not have done it any other way. I've had it for 617 days, 2,042 races. And then we'll stick with the prize car theme, shall we? The Escudo Pikes Peak. Basically, like, I just wanted, like, okay, look at this, right? You got one car for the hybrid, you got one car for max for the twisties, one car max for the hybrid, one car max for the fast, one car max for off-road. That's really kind of what I was hoping for. And, you know, that's like the big four, I guess you can say, excluding the T16, which is the best of the bunch. But yeah, 620 races. I've had it for less than a year, so it's a pretty young car. 95% for a win ratio, and I think there are only 2 more cars to showcase, right? Oh yeah, I kind of skipped through the 911 GT2 RS. I maxed this because it won Bloss Madness. So yeah, it won Bloss Madness. I think it was in the final with the Zonda Revolution. This won, and yeah, I maxed it out because, you know, that was the name of the game. And whatever car wins, I'm gonna max. And this car means a lot to me anyway. One of my oldest legendaries in my entire garage, and it's Year of the Rabbit, which is really cool. 1,814 days. That is ridiculous. Almost 2,000 days old, dude. 6,546 races. One of my oldest cars with a win ratio of a humble 80%. Most of the losses from this car is, you gotta remember, I had it 1 star for the longest, well, not, yeah, I had it 1 star for the longest time. It won me the 918, and I had like 2 upgrades into it, but in order for it to be 2 stars, you need 3 upgrades. So and then yeah, I think the last 2 to talk about would be the T16. I maxed this like immediately after I won it because I never won the IDR Pikes Peak, the Volkswagen, and I didn't win the Rimac either, and it was starting to, you know, I was like, okay, it didn't really hurt, but I feel like I needed to have a new top dog in my garage because everyone was maxing out their Naveras and everyone was maxing out their RDR Pikes Peaks. I was like, okay, I got to max a big boy of myself. And the T16 Pikes Peak has been incredibly worth it, honestly. 1.50 to 60, amazing MRA, amazing top speed as well. Sorry, top speed. Handling, the only thing that's bad is the top speed. It's also insanely light, less than 800 kgs. I've raced it 466 times with a win ratio of 95%. And last but not least, guys, I think I've not missed anything, right? I don't think so. Even the crap 959 I talked about. Yeah, last but not least, the Pagani Huayra Tricolor, which obviously I've nicknamed Rigatoni. So not a lot of these legendaries have actually like named. Like Pikes Peak doesn't have a name, 918 doesn't have a name, this is Mula, Pro Car doesn't have a name, Blossegg has a name, the Esco doesn't have a name, my Vipers, I named this a long time ago, but I forgot what I named it, honestly. It was just like, I don't, if you start naming everything, it's just not gonna be special. You know what I mean? So yeah, but rigatoni, dude. Rigatoni. Want me the Hennessy? If you don't know, rigatoni is my favorite pasta shape, so I just had to. 226 for a top speed, 2.30 to 60. It kind of is the twistier brother of the Koenigsegg Agera R. I mean, both of them have the same 0 to 60. Both of them are in the same, you know, RQ range. Just that the Agera is more of a drag, so you have the higher top speed and the better MRA. And the Tricolor, well, it's just better handling. It's the best handling rear-wheel drive performance non-prize legendary. It's tied with Hollywood at 104. So yeah, it's a very, very good car. Owned it for 45 days, so less than 2 months. Crazy. 159 races and a win ratio of 92%. But anyway, guys, those are all of my 20 max legendaries. I think I won't be making another video until I hit like at least 50, and that probably won't be soon. We will see. Maybe I'll make another video when it's 30. I think 30 is more of a, it'll honestly take me a year and a half to get 10 more max legends. I don't max legends very often, but if I had to choose, what would be the next legendary that I would max? Oh man, I mean, to be honest, I've wanted to max this on the Revolution forever. I've had it for a very long time now. I mean, I've had it for 770, more than 2 years now. But I don't know, man. If anything, if I know myself, I think the next legend that I will max out will be the Hennessy. I mean, it's already getting there. So yeah, probably this. But anyway, guys, that's going to be it. I hope you guys have a great day. Remember to stay safe, wash your hands, and let me know down in the comments below how many max legendaries you have. Anyway, guys, that's gonna be it. Remember to stay safe, wash your hands, and blossom out. Peace.
Bro, this song just makes me so happy.
Me too.
Imagine being Asian in the 50s, looking nifty, leather jacket, looking sleek, look like Presley, look so deadly. Got a jukebox back at home, feeling jazzy, turn it on and play it slow, like the movies with the ladies.
They so fine.
Imagine being Asian in the 50s, looking nifty, leather jacket, looking sleek, look like Presley, look so deadly. Got a jukebox back at home, feeling jazzy, turn it on and play it slow, like the movies with the ladies.
They so fine.
Sit back, relax in my Bonneville Pontiac. Hold tight all night.